Coming up on the cut,
Trump threatens to position a blockade on Iranian ports.
Hungarian Prime Minister overthrown after nearly 2 decades in office.
And a heated rivalry breaks out between Pope Leo and President Trump.
All of this and more coming up on the cut.
The cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Cut Network. I'm Leticia Natiello.
And I'm Brayla Burkhalter.
More than 50 years after humans' first journey to the moon, Artemis II completed another successful space venture, having landed back on Earth earlier last week. Now NASA scientists have come out with plans for an Artemis III exploration. Quote, "The next mission is right around the corner," Rick Henfling, entry flight director, said on Friday. The future mission has already been added to the docket, with unknown crew beginning their training. Right now, the biggest stakeholders for the mission seem to be tech billionaires Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, currently competing to see if SpaceX or Blue Origin will have their lander ready first. The hopes of these landers is to explore the moon's south polar region through the Artemis IV journey in 2028 to help establish a moon base estimated to cost between $20 to $30 billion. Right now, trials are being run for Artemis III in the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. NASA has stated that they will reveal the crew for this venture, quote, soon. There have been fears expressed by NASA officials and crew members in regard to the mission's safety. Still, their hope is to push through. Quote, "You know what's at stake," Amit Kushitra, NASA Associated Administrator, said. Quote, "It's going to take risks to explore, but you have to make sure you find the right line between being paralyzed by it and being able to manage it."
President Donald Trump said Sunday the United States would impose a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz following U.S.-Iran ceasefire talks that ended without an agreement. The blockade would impact all Iranian ports beginning Monday morning. Ships coming from non-Iranian ports would still be allowed through the strait, CENTCOM said. Despite the ceasefire, commercial shipping through the strait remains limited, disrupting critical oil transport. Global energy markets could face further pressure after the U.S. administers the blockade. Since the conflict began, U.S. crude oil prices have risen 8%, while Brent crude, the international benchmark, has risen 7%. Following face-to-face talks marking the highest-level negotiations between the two countries since 1979, neither side indicated what would happen after the ceasefire ends on April 22nd. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf said in response to Trump, quote, "If you fight, we fight." Vice President J.D. Vance said, quote, "We need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon." Iranian officials said talks collapsed over what they described as U.S. overreach in Iran's nuclear program. With the ceasefire set to end April 22nd, questions remain over U.S.-Iran relations and the success of the blockade.
Viktor Orbán's prime minister role is coming to an end. Cut reporter Diana Nichapork has the details on the election. Diana?
Thank you, Leticia. After 16 years in power, Viktor Orbán grips on Hungary appears to be over. Preliminary results from Sunday's election, which was based on more than 98% of counted votes, show an obvious victory for opposition leader Peter Magyar and his TISA party. It is projected to win 138 parliamentary seats. Orbán's Fidesz party trails far behind with just 55, and the far-right Our Homeland movement takes 6. Peter Magyar, a 45-year-old former party insider, addresses jubilant supporters along the banks of the river Danube last night, Budapest's iconic parliament building glowing across the water behind him. He said, quote, "We did it. Together we overthrew the Hungarian regime," quote. The result of the election marks the collapse of what critics and international observers had long labeled an, quote, "electoral autocracy," a system built over a decade and a half of tightened political control. Magyar's platform promises a sharp break from Orbán's foreign policy, most notably his close ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump, whose Vice President J.D. Vance visited Budapest in the final week of campaigning. The incoming government is expected to move Hungary back towards the European Union and Ukraine, two relationships that had badly deteriorated under Orbán leadership. The scale of this shift, both domestically and on the world stage, is difficult to overstate. For the Cut Network, I am Diana Nichapork.
Thank you, Diana. We will keep you updated on the changes. Corpus Christi, a city in Texas home to approximately 317,000 residents, is facing a serious water crisis after nearly 7 years of drought have left reservoirs at a historic low. The city is a major hub for steel and gas production, accounting for 5% of the gasoline supply in the country. Officials are now scrambling to secure enough water for both residents and industry. Quote, "We have not kept up with water supply and water infrastructure like we should have, and it's decades in the making," said City Mayor Peter Zanoni. Officials say the severity of the drought was underestimated, and key water projects, including a distillation plant, have been delayed or stalled. Currently, the city is under strict water restrictions, with residents facing limits on water use and possible price increases. However, industry, which uses the majority of the city's water, has faced fewer immediate cutbacks, causing frustration among locals. Officials warned that without significant rain or new water sources, the city could reach emergency levels as soon as this spring, which may force cuts that could impact fuel production and the local economy. Quote, "We are actively praying for a hurricane," former city council member David Loeb said jokingly. To prevent potential cuts, Corpus Christi is turning to groundwater projects and planning major infrastructure investments. Still, those could cost billions and lead to higher water bills for residents who are already struggling to meet increased fuel and food costs amidst the U.S. and Iran conflict.
Representative Eric Swalwell leaves Congress after facing allegations. Cut reporter Charlotte Reese has more. Charlotte?
Thanks, Brayla. California Representative Eric Swalwell resigned from the U.S. House of Representatives after sexual assault allegations surfaced. The representative made the announcement after the House Ethics Committee said it was launching an investigation. While Swalwell denied the allegations, in a tweet he said he could not adequately serve his constituents. Swalwell, who represents parts of East Bay, suspended his campaign in the highly contested governor race after more than 4 women came out with allegations. With the addition of a new accuser, he stepped down 11 a.m. Arizona time Tuesday. The San Francisco Chronicle and CNN reported the allegations last week, which included a former member of Swalwell's staff. The allegations included explicit messages, rape, and sexual assault in California and New York. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office launched an investigation into the allegations in New York. Many politicians, including Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego, rescinded their endorsements of Swalwell. This is the first of 2 congressmen stepping down from their positions due to allegations. Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez announced his resignation after Swalwell after an affair with a staffer and allegations of sexual misconduct arose. With their resignations, the House majority will stay Republican, with 1 less member for each party. Currently, there is no information on whether or not current Governor Gavin Newsom will call a special election for the representative seat. For the Cut Network, I'm Charlotte Reese. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Charlotte. A federal judge stepped in and temporarily barred the state of Arizona from taking any legal actions regarding a lawsuit on the company Kalshi. Kalshi is the first regulated U.S. exchange for people to bet on real-world events. The state of Arizona filed criminal charges against the company, claiming that the platform is used for illegal gambling. State prosecutors charged Kalshi with 20 counts of misdemeanor regarding yes or no bets on political events and college sports. U.S. District Judge Michael Liberty said that the company follows Commodity Future Trading Commission laws and that prediction markets like these are legal financial trades under federal law. The commission sued Arizona, arguing that the state is intruding on its federal power to regulate national swap markets. Quote, "The Attorney General's office disagrees with the court's ruling and we will evaluate our next steps," said Richie Taylor, a spokesperson for the Arizona Attorney General's office. Robert Donal, head of enforcement at Kalshi, said that the ruling is, quote, "a step in the right direction," and can provide some clear understandings about companies like Kalshi. Kalshi stands firm that they are a financial marketing platform, explaining that their customers engage in swaps between one another, rather than betting against anyone. Reactions to the case remain mixed as legal challenges continue.
Pope Leo addresses Trump's ongoing threats. Cut anchor Gabrielle Arias has the story. Gabrielle?
Thank you, Leticia. A disagreement between the leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo, and President Donald Trump about the war in Iran has escalated this past weekend. As Trump continued threats to Iran, the Pope said God, quote, "does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war, but rejects them." Following the remarks, Trump called him, quote, "weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy." He then added the Pope should, quote, "focus on being a great Pope, not a politician." Catholic Vice President J.D. Vance defended Trump, saying the Pope should stay out of American politics. The Pope responded that he is not speaking as a politician and his words are rooted in the gospel. He stressed the importance that he was not making a direct attack on the Trump administration, but instead calling for peace in Iran and other conflicts around the world. Following the conflict, Trump posted an AI image depicting him seemingly as Jesus on Truth Social. The photo showed Trump wearing a biblical-style robe and healing a man with light glowing from his hands. Criticism came from many Trump supporters after the image was posted. Conservative pundit Carmen Sabia said, quote, "I support Trump on most things, but I will forever support my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ before any man or woman. What Trump did is reprehensible." Marjorie Taylor Greene, former GOP representative, said, quote, "It's more than blasphemy. It's an anti-Christ spirit." In response to the controversial post, Trump said, quote, "I did post it and I thought it was me as a doctor and it had to do with the Red Cross." He blamed the, quote, "fake news" for the confusion surrounding the image. The post was later deleted from Trump's account. Vance said Trump was, quote, "posting a joke," and he deleted the post because he recognized that a lot of people weren't understanding his humor in that case. Following the disagreement, Pope Leo said, quote, "I'm not afraid of the Trump administration or of speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel, which is what the church works for." For the Cut Network, I'm Gabrielle Arias.
Thank you, Gabrielle. The quarrel between these two leaders could spark a change in relationships between the administrations. Now on to entertainment with Cut anchor Ileana James. Ileana?
Hello, and welcome back to the Cut Entertainment. I'm your host today, Ileana James. Last Monday was filled with movie trailer releases. The official trailer for The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, was released. The film is directed by Francis Lawrence and follows young Haymitch in the world of Panem, 24 years before the events of The Hunger Games. The second quarter quell will premiere later this year on November 20th. Billie Eilish's hit Me Hard and Soft, the tour, live in 3D, releases in theaters May 8th. Tickets are available for purchase as of yesterday, April 16th. Now I have some internet drama for you. Alex Cooper called out Alex Earl's passive-aggressive interactions online. She posted a video asking for Earl to explain herself and stop dancing around the drama. She mentioned, quote, "I'm really tired of waking up and seeing you using this fake drama to distract from other stuff going online for you that not interested." Earl commented directly on the video saying, "Okay, on it," and reposted it. Rumors of the beef started when Earl's podcast, Hot Mess, left Unwell back in March of 2025. Unwell is home to Cooper's podcast network and drink company. As of now, we don't have any further information on the situation. However, we will keep you updated. The influencer Hunger Games happened this past weekend with Coachella Weekend 1. Headliners Sabrina Carpenter, Justin Bieber, and Karol G blew the audiences away. Fans are excited to see what they have in store for Weekend 2. Sabrina opened the weekend with a theatrical, old Hollywood aesthetic featuring 20 of her hit songs. Quote, "It's the most ambitious show I've ever done. It's probably the most time I've ever had to actually sit down and talk about a show as I'm building it." Addison Rae was spotted on stage with dancer Maddie Ziegler for her first solo Coachella appearance. Following her performance, Justin Bieber showed up with his laptop and microphone. He doom-scrolled, watched memes of himself mid-show, and shopped online. Fans appreciated how laid back and happy he was while performing, while others believed his performance was not Coachella-worthy. The Biebers were the stars of Coachella 2026. Rhode X The Biebers released their spot wear pimple patches, peptide eye prep, and peptide lip treatment, and scent banana peel. Hailey Bieber hosted a Rhode World pop-up event in honor of Coachella and the collaboration. Day 3, Karol G performed, making her the first Latina to headline the festival. After her performance, the Season 3 Euphoria premiere was shown at the campgrounds, marking Coachella's first ever television show screening. I'm so excited to see what they have in store for Weekend 2 for us. And that's a wrap for The Cut Entertainment. Thank you for watching. I'm Ileana James with The Cut Network.
Thank you, Ileana. What a crazy week, and I'm looking forward to part 2 of Bieberchella. Cut anchor Danny Alkery has the updates on sports. Danny?
Thanks, Leticia. Welcome back to Sports on the Cut. The NBA postseason is on the horizon, and we're seeing a lot of interesting matchups. Today, we're going through all of the first-round bracket, as well as some projections for who might end up on top. Starting in the Eastern Conference, the battle for seeding has officially wrapped up, with the Toronto Raptors and Atlanta Hawks clinching playoff berth and making it out of the play-in race. The Eastern play-in tournament is set to see who will face the number 1 Pistons and number 2 Celtics, with the matchups being the Hornets versus Heat and the Magic versus 76ers. The matchups already confirmed for the playoffs is the number 4 seed Cavaliers versus the number 5 seed Raptors, as well as the 3 seed Knicks versus the 6 seed Hawks. So many fun matchups to look forward to, as the Hornets have been piping hot towards the end of the season, as well as a fun rivalry matchup between the Knicks and Hawks. Moving over to the Western Conference, the Blazers versus the Suns and the Warriors versus Clippers will open up the half of the bracket in the play-in. The teams that will make it out will be playing the first seed Thunder and the second seed Spurs in the first round of the playoffs. The confirmed matchups include the 4-seed Lakers versus the 5-seed Rockets and the 3-seed Nuggets versus 6-seed Timberwolves. The West is always guaranteed to entertain with stars like Wemby, Nikola Jokic, and LeBron James all ready to put on a show. We also get to see rising stars such as Houston's Amen Thompson and San Antonio's Stephon Castle try to solidify themselves as a top talent in the league. According to the ESPN, the clear favorites to win the championship are the Thunder with the odds of +110. Other teams that have decent odds of winning are the Spurs, Celtics, Nuggets, Cavaliers, and Knicks. The most likely matchup for the NBA Finals sees the Celtics versus Thunder with a probability of 12.9%. The least likely matchup sees the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Denver Nuggets with a likelihood of 1.3%. That's all for this week. Be sure to tune in next time for more sports news. For the Cut Network, I'm Daniel Corey.
Thank you, Danny. This season is heating up. On Sunday, hundreds of Argentine teenagers gathered in a plaza in Buenos Aires to connect with other Therians, or individuals who identify mentally with animals. The term Therian has been trending all over social media, having surpassed 2 million posts on TikTok. In Argentina, teenagers have been gathering in public spaces to connect with the community and to show off their identities. Quote, "I wake up like a normal person and live my life like a normal person," Aguara, a self-identifying Belgian Illinois, said. Quote, "I simply have times when I like being a dog." Many young people in Argentina credit the movement's scale to the country's free and open-minded environment. Many have said that the Therian movement has also allowed them to find community and a sense of belonging. When asked if parents should be worried about the children who identify as Therians, psychologist and director of the Integral Therapeutic Center, Deborah Belace, assured the public that no real harm could come from the movement. Quote, "It becomes pathological or alarming only when it turns into a deeply rooted belief and the person fully assumes the role of an animal, potentially leading to self-harm or hurting others," Belace said. Okay, Brilla, if you could be any animal, what would you think you would be?
Oh, I don't even think I've thought about that before. Maybe like a deer? What about you?
I feel like if we're talking specifically dog breeds, I'd be a beagle, you know?
Okay. I could totally see that. Yeah.
And that's all we have for you this week.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @the_Cut_network.
For the Cut Network, I'm Leticia Natiello.
And I'm Brayla Burkhalter. Have a nice night.